Over to Dr. Pradeepa.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, in Rotary, we talk of positive peace. And in positive peace, economic engagement of youth is very important. Because only if youth is judiciously and economically engaged, will we be able to promote conditions of peace in the society. Rotary's main focus is to try and bring peace in the society. But for that peace, we are doing some positive actions. And that is positive peace. And one of them is economic engagement of youth. Here, I'm going to show, it will be very difficult for you to absorb this diagram in a very short while. But this is the diagram of progress of life, as you can see here. Somebody has got his mic on, can you please switch it off? Somebody has got his mic on, please switch it off. Okay, so as life progresses, in our civilization and culture talks that a person progresses from Vyashti, that is an individual, to Sameshti, a member of society, to Srishti, and then to Parmeshti. There are 8 different milestones of human development. Infant growth with good values. Each one of them has got all the negative development also. If the child is not given good values, he becomes a spoiled child. Education and empowerment, which should lead to judicious work and enterprise if that person chooses to. If the person gets into family or he's a member of a family, he should be like a divine family. And then he should expand his heart to think of the world as a family and harmonize with nature and leave something timeless for the ages to come. And eventually go to a point of cosmic harmony where he becomes unified with the cosmic consciousness itself. Each of these, unfortunately, has got a negative part. And if you and I do not do our job to pull up children and youth on the positive path, they will go down to the negative path. So supporting education and growing local economies is the focus for enterprise education. Quickly, I just want to show you this pie chart of how the employment pattern is in India. Of the total main workers, only 3% have jobs in government sector, 1% in the private sector, almost 50% are somewhere connected to agriculture or small scale employment, small industries. 41% are unemployed, but then out of choice. They are either housewives or they are not registered with the government. And 7% is the government figure for registered unemployed on the average. This is again a complex diagram. Don't worry if you don't understand it completely. The orange is the funnel diagram, which shows children getting into the education system, and then they proceed towards higher education, and they keep on exiting the system at different points. Some get into agriculture, some into self-employment, some remain unemployed, and a very small number only can get organized sector employment. Unfortunately, currently, this whole system of education is devised that you will one day get an employment over here, which is not there. Please rest assured, not more than 5 to 10% will get employed in the organized sector. Rest have to find their way into self-employment, agriculture, and non-farm sectors. Now, this 7% of which is in unemployed, what happens to them? The global crisis of corona has reduced the economic sectors available to them. There is rising unemployment. The official figures are over here. The 7% unemployment, which was the average, suddenly shot up 3 times. Now, this is not just for India. Everywhere in the world, it has happened like that. But it has also thrown up new opportunities, because many global supply chains have got disrupted. And that is where our country is trying to say Atmanirbhar. Kamalji ji was very right when she pointed it out. That is where all the opportunities are coming. All these days we were letting somebody else do the job for us. Now let us do it ourselves. So therefore, well-engaged youth will be a healthy condition for peace in our society. And in this context, we have come to the question of enterprise education. The vision of this is to provide an opportunity for every school-going child or college-going youth to develop an enterprising mindset. And what is an enterprising mindset? We try to provide 2 things to them. One is concepts, which is like marketing, design, production. Other is skills, thinking, listening, visual, intellectual, speech, soft skills, vocational. And why do we need enterprise education? It is so that you can be successful as entrepreneur, or as a motivator to other school children and youth. Like I am a motivator right now. I am neither an entrepreneur nor am I an entrepreneur, but I am a motivator. And that is also a very valuable role in society. Chandramouli ji is also a motivator. Nitin Naik is an entrepreneur. A lot of research was done, as Mamta ji said, in through a series of radio programs called Udyog Sadhana and TV programs, then international research in schools in Australia, New Zealand, USA, etc. You will be surprised. Our own President Abdul Kalam ji, and his photo is here with me. He himself, when he came to know that there is such a research going on, he sent a message to the collector of Pune. I want to see what that research is. It's very interesting. A president of India somewhere gets to know that something is happening in a part of his country. He calls to meet those people. My wife Netra and one of our senior trustees met him. He went through the whole research. Within 5 minutes, he grasped it. Such a wonderful intellectual he was. And he said, God bless you. For us, that has been a great motivator. Thank you, Dr. Kalamji. We have Dr. Mehrotra, who will be talking with us later. This whole program was tried out by the UNDP in the Arab region in India. The Secondary Education Board of Maharashtra introduced it as a subject. Now I come to the presentation. You will see here, this is the functional areas of the brain. What are we trying to do in enterprise education? So, this is memory area, this is thinking area, this is motor and sensory area, auditory area, correlation area, speech area, intellectual area, visual area, this one, and balance and rhythm area. We have tried to do a survey with teachers, and most of them have said that at least till 10th standard, our education system focuses on the memory area. Just a minute, give me a minute. Okay. So enterprise education tries to devise activities such that even the rest of the brain, the one it is shown in yellow, will be exercised. So that is the purpose of the exercises which we'll try to do. We'll do a sample of them. This thing. Conventional literacy talks of 3 R's. R, the written word, first R. Second is write the written word. Third is numeracy. But in enterprise literacy, we talk of R, not only read the written word, but read the minds of people. You'll be surprised, read the minds of people. It's very interesting, very interesting. What is it? But we do it in a scientific way. We'll do it through market research, through business idea generation, through enterprise and understanding the enterprise and its relation to the community, through how to recruit people. In enterprise education, we'll not teach you how to give an interview. We'll tell you how to take an interview. Understanding what the government organization is, what the business organizations are. Then write the plans creatively. Enterprise education talks of design plans, marketing plans, production plans, finance plans, global trade plans, and business plans. Now, one of our team members from the district suggested that instead of teaching this separately, why can't we integrate it with common education? Sunita ji had told me. Well, that's a great area of research and we will definitely work on it. Then numeracy skills, finance and accounting, costing, village or town as an economic entity, regional resources.